Hello, everybody. This is Daniel Dibaba in Fino News Network. And in today's program, I would be discussing mostly about the human rights abuses by the Ethiopian National Defense Force and Fano. But I've also brought you some news. And my first news, Girma Gammada, a renowned Oromo living in Canada, is said to have passed away. Girma Gammada is affiliated with Oromia Media Network. And Girma, according to OMN, Girma supported a lot of Oromo artists, and he participated in Oromo struggle. And also, he was part of the OMN media for over several years. According to OMN, Girma Gammada was sick for over 2 years and passed away. Girma used to live in Toronto, Canada. In another news, this past week, an Ethiopian general by the name of Tafara Mamo is said to have defected to the Fano militant group. According to some news, General Tafara was on some kind of picnic with his family members, but remained behind with some of his colleagues, and his family members returned home, and assuming he would also return home. But eventually the news came out that Tafara actually defected to the Fano militants. According to the news, several versions of news are circulating on social media. There is no definite number of the number of troops that this general took with him to join the Fano. Some figures range a few hundreds to thousands. According to the news, the Ethiopian government security forces tried to capture and return the Farah Mamo and the forces who are defected with him. According to some Amara sources, the Ethiopian government sent the National Guard, the special forces that Abiy Ahmed uses, but they were unsuccessful. Some of the National Guard, Republican Guards, were said to have been captured by the Fano militants. So that is one of the major news in the last 1 week, and it's very hot. There is a lot of discussion going on. It's said that Tafara Mamo had a number of positions within the Prosperity Party. The reasons for his defection is not clear. He might have been won by some of the ideologies of the Fano militant group, or he might have fallen out with the Ethiopian government. There is no confirmed information as to what led to his defection at this point. In another news, the Oromo Liberation Army's Erbu Shiniga or Shiniga O's military campaign has been ongoing for the last several months. The OLA has intensified these military operations, including the environments of the capital, Finfinne, as well as other farthest areas from the capital. The Oromo Liberation Army has intensified its operation against the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. The Oromo Liberation Army continues to inflict heavy losses on the Ethiopian government defense forces, and the OLA has confirmed capturing some of the ENDF forces as it paraded those who have been captured and interviewed some of them, and also displayed a number of military assets that have been captured from the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. The OLA continues to conduct operations in Shawa zones, in Walaga zones, in Wallo, in RC zones, in Hararge, and Guji and Borana zones, Bunobedele, and other areas of Oromia. The OLA has been more and more strong in the last few months, and almost in all the operations against the Ethiopian security forces, the OLA has gained an upper hand and either repulsed the ENDF forces or killed hundreds of them and captured a number of them. This war is named Dula Irbush Niga, which is loosely translated into the Shiniga Oath. And this name for that's given to this military campaign has special memory among the Oromo, because it reminds the Oromo Liberation Front leaders who were executed by Somalia militants in 1980. About 10 Oromo Liberation Front top leaders who were traveling to Somalia to garner support to the Oromo liberation movement in the 1980s were executed by Somalia militants at a place called Shiniga. And this military campaign by the Oromo Liberation Army is meant to remember, and it's a memory of those leaders. And this indicates that the current struggle of the Oromo people, led by the Oromo Liberation Front, Oromo Liberation Army, is a continuation of the Oromo people's struggle for the last 50 years. With that, I will transition to the Oromia Support Group. The Oromia Support Group issued, it is number 66, Oromia Support Group report. In the report that Infinite News Network received, the Oromia Support Group compiled over 44 pages of incidents of human rights abuses by both the Ethiopian National Defense Force and Fano militants. The Oromia Support Group details, and it begins with some of the current projects by the Ethiopian government to resolve the crisis that's engulfing Ethiopia, especially the dialogue. And OSG, Oromia Support Group, titled its introduction by Dialogue or Disintegration, and discusses about the promises by Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed of a genuine commitment to national dialogue, a program of transitional justice, says are no more realistic than his forecast last year that Ethiopia would be exporting surplus grain to more needy countries by now. OSG details Ethiopia's dependency on Emirates to build a national palace, by the Abiy Ahmed, that cost us $10 to $15 billion. It says is bankrolled by the United Arab Emirates. And it says Ethiopia depends on Emirates as the UAE jockeys or competes for regional dominance with Saudi Arabia and risks increasing confrontation between Somaliland, United Arab Emirates, rapid support forces in Sudan, and Ethiopia on one side, and Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Eritrea, Somalia, and Sudanese armed forces on the other, the making of a regional proxy war. According to OSG, the Ethiopian government, United Arab Emirates, the Saudi and rapid support forces in Sudan are allied on one side. On the other side, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Eritrea, Somalia, and Sudanese armed forces are the other allied group. And according to OSG, these two groups are competing for dominance. And Ethiopia relies on United Arab Emirates for some lofty project that's taking place in the capital. Oromia Support Group continues to criticize the Ethiopian government and says, beside backgrounding and unsettled hostility in Tigray, insurgencies in Oromia and Amara region, sporadic violence elsewhere, rampant inflation over 3 million destitute displaced people, delayed bailout by the IMF, and almost 25% of his population needing food aid, which means over 25 million people in Ethiopia at this point need food aid. And the Prime Minister, Abiy Ahmed, is not in a position to dictate terms for much needed national dialogue, according to this report. OSG continues to detail some of the injustices committed against the Tigrayan people during the war between November 2020 and November 2022, and the continued raping of Tigrayan women and children, and then comes to the brutal attack by Fano against the Oromo. According to OSG, on June 14, Fano militants logged wedding guests in a hall in West Shawa. At least 24 of the wedding party were then bombed, burned, and shot 2 days. It displays the image of those people on page 24 of it is over 54 page report. During the preparation of this report, Oromia Support Group was sent another gruesome picture of headless corpses of Oromo civilian murdered and desecrated by the Fano militia. The brutality of Fano fighters in killing and dismembering unarmed Oromo and Gumuz men and women and children has been repeatedly detailed in OSG report over the last 5 years. It says, Fano militia are guilty of ethnic cleansing and stand in the dock alongside Amara region militia, the ENDF, and Eritrean Defense Force accused of genocide in Tigray, according to this report. OSG has reported ethnic cleansing by Fano of Oromo, Agao, and Kwan people from Amara region, of Gumuz and Oromo from Matakal zone in Benishangul Gumuz region, and of Oromo from East, North, West Shawa, Horoguru, and East Wallaga zones of Oromia region, according to this report. Details of this ethnic intolerance were submitted by OSG in April to the Universal Periodic Review of Ethiopia by the UN Human Rights Council and are available on OSG's website. OSG says Fano has recently been accused of attacking Sudanese refugees, forcing 6,000, including over 2,000 children, to leave Kumar and Aulala camps in Gondar, where Sudan Tribune reported 1,700 incidents of killings, looting, theft, kidnapping, and assaults by Amara militia. The 6,000 are now living in the forest without aid or facilities. OSG continues to detail and says, yet Fano forces are popular and receive support from the Amara public at home and abroad. Amara academics in the US wrote on 22nd May in support of Fano and called for unification of these 9 or more functions. In that call, doctors Badege Bishau and Aklok Brara claimed that Fano were protecting 50 to 60 million Amara, the largest group in Ethiopia, from the genocide being perpetrated by a government dominated by Oromo elite, according to their statement. Fano they continue to say, Fano are fighting for the sheer survival of the Amara people and for equality and democracy, they wrote. They claim Fano were farmers, ex-soldiers, and professionals who defended the peace-loving and spiritual Amara people. They refuted the notion of Amara hegemony over the Ethiopian empire, writing that over the last 150 years, Amara settled in other parts of Ethiopia, driven by business opportunities, government jobs, and the spread of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo Church having an integrating role outside of Amara region. Others claim that, according to OSG, Amara living in other regions of Ethiopia used the resources of the Oromo extras to fund Fano, and that Fano aimed to resume Amara hegemony over the whole of Ethiopia, as well as expand the territory of Amara region, so that one more Amara language, script, and cultural are seen as the only face of Ethiopia. According to OSG report, Fano vehemently opposed the federal arrangement in 1995 of Ethiopian constitution. Doctors Bishau and Birara described in their statements it as being designated, designed to isolate, attack, and harm Amaras. Disputed territories such as Walqait, Sagade, and Raya belong to the Amara people, and their sovereignty should not be decided by referendum, stated the owners. And so, according to Amara intellectuals and elites, they continue to claim lands in disputed Western Tigray region. Such lands are Walqait, Sagade, and Raya. So sometimes the Amara elites criticize the Ethiopian current federal structure. At the same time, they claim land from other regions. So this is self-contradicting, because if the Amara elites and Amara politicians argue the current federal structure is harming the Amara, and they want just a unified one country without any regional or state borders, why would they still claim Walqait, Sagade, and Raya as their own? It is self-contradicting, and this is a part I don't understand. When they claim land from other regions, they kill people. They try to evict people from those lands to claim and expand to those regions. But at the same time, they criticize the Ethiopian current federal structure as if it is hurting the Amara and it's restricting their movement to other regions for business, for life, and for everything. They claim they are citizens of Ethiopia and they should be allowed to live anywhere and shouldn't be disadvantaged, especially in other regions of the country, even though there is no rule or there is no evidence that Amaras living in different places are disadvantaged. So there is over 54 pages of this report. I will continue to highlight some of this report. But so according to OSG, they claim the Amara elites, the two men that were mentioned, Bishao and Brara, who are said to live in the U.S. They claimed Fano's primary objective is to stop the killings, persecutions, displacement, and ethnic cleansing of Amara in any parts of Ethiopia, including Addis Ababa. But this is exactly, says OSG says, what Fano are doing to other peoples in Ethiopia. Oromo human rights activists claim that Fano was armed and supported by Eritrea and the Ethiopian government to help in their genocidal war against the Tigray. Fano was used by Ethiopia to do its dirty work, to commit acts in Tigray, Matakal, and Oromia, which would bring censure from the International Criminal Court and International Court of Justice. No longer cooperating with Ethiopia, Eritrea is encouraging Fano to bring down the government of Abiy Ahmed in this window of opportunity to re-establish Amara hegemony, according to this report. The destruction of infrastructure and the collapse of agriculture due to Fano's insurgency in the Amara region, second only to Oromia in terms of agricultural production, has national repercussions, according to this report. The Oromo, according to this report, are the only obstacle to Fano's intentions, hence the group conflating the Oromo people or equating the Oromo people with the Prosperity Party government as a common Oromo enemy. Fano and Eritrea are desperate to keep the Oromo hidden from the international scene and to deny them their rightful place as a significant force for sustainable peace in Ethiopia and the Horn of Africa, according to this report. Fano, according to OSG, wants access to Oromo resources, even if that means removing Oromo from Ethiopia. OSG continues to state, a lawyer and a human rights activist interviewed by Kush Media in June 2023 stated that ordinary Amara people suffer because of the conflict perpetrated by their elites who organized Fano. He said they were in conflict to the north in West Tigray and to the south in Oromia, to the west in Medakal, Benishangul Gumuz region, and in their own region against Agao, as well as Oromo in Wallo. Violence and hatred beget more violence and hatred. Belligerence and cruelty of Fano must be contained by more moderate Amara, according to OSG. As the U.S. Ambassador Evin Masinga stated, Fano should take its arguments through dialogue, not violence, whereas a principle just resistance to oppressive government forces may be reasonable, and killings and ethnic cleansing of civilians is not, according to OSG. OSG says there is broad agreement with academics, doctors, Badege, Bishao, and Aklok Brara, supporters of Fano, that there is a need for a conversation that brings all Ethiopians together and form a government in which all Ethiopians are represented and can live in an environment of equality, respect for human rights, dignity, justice, and democratic governance. Observing democratic governance includes respecting the fact that the majority of Ethiopians support Ethiopian government, says. I'm not sure whether majority of Ethiopians support the current Ethiopian government, but OSG, for some reason, I don't know where they got the statistics, say majority of the Ethiopian people support the Ethiopian government. This is questionable in my opinion, and I don't want to say much about it, but they have included this as part of the report anyways. On page 8, OSG reported the killing of Jalbatte Urgesa. The Ethiopian government security forces killed Jalbatte Urgesa this year in April, around April 9th. So they reported the killing of Batte Urgesa as such. The cold-blooded killing by Ethiopian security forces of internationally respected Oromo Liberation Front spokesman Batte Urgesa on the night of Tuesday, 9 April 2024, shocked and saddened Oromo and all those throughout the world who want respect for human rights in Ethiopia. OSG says his measured, softly spoken, and respectful articulation of Oromo rights and the role on Ethiopian and world stage will be sorely missed. OSG says the 41-year-old father of four had got to his home town of Maki, which is about 127 kilometers south of Finfinne in the southern parts of East Shawa, to attend his family farm. He told his friends he had been closely watched by the government security men for several days and chose to stay at the Ababe Grass Match pension in the Nook area of Maki instead of at a family home for security reasons on Tuesday, 9th of April this year. There was police and security agent activity early that evening at the pension, which prevented the public from moving around according to Addis standard and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission. At about 20 minutes after midnight, Batte was taken by the security men from the hotel, being severely beaten as he protested at his unlawful treatment, according to witness accounts relayed by the Oromo Liberation Front. Witnesses from the Beldarular area, 2 kilometers from Maki, reported that a two-cabined security force vehicle carrying Batte and 4 members of the security forces pulled up with headlights still on. 2 of the men got out with Batte and handed orders given in Fano by the 2 who remained in the vehicle. They tied Batte's elbows behind his back with his belt and shot him at least 6 times in his head, face, and body. His body was left to be eaten by wild animals, but local people stood guard and kept hyenas away. Police arrived in the morning, took photographs, and removed 6 bullets from the area, but left his body to be collected by his family. They did not even pretend to mount an investigation at the time, according to this report. Witnesses, including the hotel watchman and guests and those who witnessed the killing and guarded Batte's body, were all detained next day and made to disappear in detention. Between 7 and 13 were taken and either were killed or disappeared. Telecommunication blackouts ensued, according to OSG. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission was forced to abandon its investigation because of harassment of its team and disappearance of witnesses by security forces. Batte's brother, who had spoken to media, and his sister were also detained, according to this report. According to OSG, Batte was a biology graduate from Barda University and had been arrested many times, including in 2016 when, as a secondary school teacher, he was injured during the Cairo democratic demonstrations. In this report, several incidents of the human rights abuses by the Ethiopian government security forces and the Fano militants are highlighted. I would go through this report and highlight some of the main report. According to this report, more than 5,575 Oromo civilians have been killed since Abiy Ahmed came to power in 2018. The report continues. Finfinne in central Oromia. ENDF killed 6 people, pictured below, in an attack on Kalacha village, Sabbata district, South Finfinne in Oromia Special Zone on 28th of April. The name of those who were killed are listed here, and here are their pictures. The OSG also reported killings in West RT and RC. According to social media report, 9 members of one family, including nephews, grandchildren of the informant, were shot dead in Adaba district, West RC, on the orders of the district governor Kamal Haji Tola. on the 14th of April this year. Their bodies were thrown in the bush around Washa and Bubisa village and left for several days. The dead included Saudi Haji Wako, Dr. Abdul Karim Abubakar, and Ms. Rukia Sadeh. The 6 others were not named in the report. On 15th of April, Great Oromia reported the killing by government force of Polle Gobana, the son of the Tulama Bagada, the previous days in Gadab Hasasa, West RC. He was accused of being a member of the OLA. In December 2022, his brother Badane Gobana was arrested from their father's home in Maki, West Shawa. Their father, Gobana Hola, is secretary of the Oromo Gada Leaders Council. OSG continues to detail other human rights violations, including killings. The following were killed by ENDF on or just before May 6 in or near Areta village, Sirka district Ati zone. It lists the name of 5 people here. Some of the people's pictures are displayed here. Similar killings are also said to be taking place in the Amara region. Several people were killed, especially over 80 Muslim people are said to have been killed in the Amara region in April. Even after some ransoms were paid, people are being killed in the Amara region. The Agao, Kemant, and other ethnic groups are being targeted in the Amara region, according to OSG report. And also the Oromo people are targeted in the Amara region. In this report, on page 14 of this report, the OSG details the killing of 119 Oromo civilians by Fano and ENDF in March of this year. On March 26, OSG was given the following eyewitness account of an attack on Oromo villagers in the Oromia special region of the special zone of Amara region, Wallo. On the first day of Ramadan, 10th of March, Fano and Amara militia attacked 2 Kawales in the Bate area near Sambate, a small town in a mountainous area, killing 94 people. One village, Wasan Kurkur, was totally destroyed. In each Kabale were 200 or more homes, each with 8 to 14 people living in them. Thus, at least 4,000 Oromos were made homeless in this attack. Corpses were burned as well as houses. Thousands of cattle and several hundred camels. One house would have 3 to 4 cows and a camel were either stolen or shot if they would not be taken away. More than half of all the properties were stolen. According to OSG report, the road was closed by the government, so aid could not get through to the affected people. The Ethiopian National Defense Force came and fought with Fano forces, but were repulsed. The Amara commanders then turned on the Oromo villagers and killed 25. As the area is in conflict, no one will care about them killing Oromo, said Oromia Support Group informant. When Amara region militia arrived and started to dig trenches, the Oromo thought they were going to defend them, but the regional militia joined in with Fano to attack the Oromo civilians. According to OSG, the internally displaced persons are staying in the mosque in Sambate or being hosted by local Oromo, sharing their homes with 20, 30, or even 40 people. There is no international or other national aid. There are no schools, The Wasan school was the first building to be destroyed a few years, according to this report. OSG continued to report more killings in March of 2024. Cairo activist, former detainee and torture survivor Ibrahim Saddam Shakal, now a refugee in Cairo, reported on 14th March the killing of 8 people in Makkah, Wallo on 20th of February. The names of 6 were corroborated by an eyewitness report to OSG on April 30th and are marked by those who have been confirmed are marked with asterisk. So according to this report, several people have been listed, and over 5,000, according to OSG, have been killed since the Japan government of Abiy Ahmed came to power. And these people are being killed by the Japan National Defense Forces and Fano militants. One of the gruesome killings that took place by the Fano militants was a mass killing that took place in Ono district on June 14, just last month. At least 24 people were killed in the incident at a wedding celebration in Kondala village, Nono district, West Shawa, on 14th of June. BBC and Oromo News confirmed reports by local informants who reported to Oromia Support Group correspondent label W1. BBC interviewed a local man and the ENDF commander of the Nono command post who led a unit to the village after the killing. Wedding guests right were locked in a building, and at least one grenade or bomb was thrown in. The building was set on fire. Most of the deceased were burned to death. At least 4 were shot dead as they attempted to leave the building. Some who were seriously injured were taken to a hospital, according to OSG correspondent. The resident interviewed by BBC believes 37 people were killed. The dead included a pregnant woman, a 3-year-old child, and a 70-year-old woman. The burned bodies were unrecognizable when retrieved from the ashes of the building, according to the images displayed in the OSG report. All of those interviews say the attackers were Amara extremists, i.e. the Fano militia. Several other buildings were burned down during this incident. The village name Biftu Jalala by BBC has Amara and Oromo residents. Amara residents were evacuated from the village before the attack, according to BBC report. The attackers were organized outside the area, but had some local support, according to those interviewed ENDF commander. The command post leader said 16 died in a similar attack on another village 2 years ago. More killing by Fano and ENDF. This standard reported on 18th of June this year that 2 villages in Darra district of North Shawa were attacked by Fano militia on 15th June. The group targeted civilians in the village of Juru, Dada, and Ware Gabro in retaliation for OLA taking control of Chekka town after fighting with Fano. The mayor of Chekka told the standard that OLA had killed 3 and injured others in the market area of Chekka. Fano killed the villagers in retaliation, namely Taddase Jobir, age 45, Tasfaye Demise, age 48, and Tami Abarra, age 32, and Teshomek Red, age 60. Schools and clinics were closed due to the fighting. Adil Standard reported, according to OSG, that 18 community members were killed by Fano in a 2-day attack in Darra district beginning 24th of December 2023. Qeerroo activist Ayana Milkeessa Wright was killed by ENDF in his home in Tibet village, Bako district, West Shawa during the night of 20th June. A graduate from Adama University, he had decided to flee from discrimination and harassment as a Qeerroo activist since 2018 and had intended to go to Kenya shortly before he was targeted and killed, according to OSG's informant. The Oromia Support Group also highlighted collective punishment of the Oromo Liberation Army families by the ENDF. According to this report, an informant from West Shawa Road on April 29th, west of Ambo town, about 120 kilometers from the capital, the government cadres have announced the most primitive collective punishment unthinkable in the 21st century, which include forbidding anyone visiting the family of the rebels. If they are sick, take them to hospitals, grease them on the street, attend their burial ceremonies, bury them at church, buy from them or sell to them extras. Those who broke the law of the cadres would be charged from 10,000 to 50,000. Such things never happen in the country's long recorded history, this informant says. Some sort of ostracism may be there, but denying the dead decent burial or asking money for a body of the dead is not normal in this country, according to the informant. OSG continued to display some illegal activity by the government, including recruitment of child soldiers. ENDF is recruiting young teenagers. One of OSG's informant wrote on May 30th that the boy shown far right photographed in Tekji village, southwest Shawa, was only 40 years old. Another boy from the same village near right, who ran away to join the OLA, was interviewed and reported on June 16th. He claimed to be just 17 years old. In this detail report number 66 by the Oromia Support Group, that's based in London, United Kingdom, several tangible confirmed evidence of abuses, killings, imprisonment, torture, burning alive, looting of property were perpetrated by the Ethiopian National Defense Forces and Amara Fano militants, especially on the Oromo people. The other targeted group in Ethiopia by these two groups are the Agao, the command in the Amara region, the Tigray people in the north of Ethiopia, and the Benishangul Gumuz people. According to OSG, in the middle of June, about 24 people who were on a wedding were burned. They were attacked by grenade by Amara militants, and the Amara militants also continued to conduct similar attack against Oromo civilians in the North Shawa zones and in Wollo zones. Amara region militia were also reported to be supporting the Fano militants in their attack against the Oromo people. This report confirms the Ethiopian government Ethiopian government forces and Amara Fano militants target the Oromo people, and this is in contradiction to recent Fano, description of their states, their ideology, their objective to stand for the rights of the Amara people. And as if their war, the current war campaign that they are conducting is only targeted against the Ethiopian government. They are attacking Oromo civilians. They are throwing grenade against defenseless and armed Oromo civilians, as happened in West Shawa, in North Shawa, in Dara, in Wallo, and Bate, and other districts in Wallo region, in Wallo special zone of Oromia. And in Northwest Oromia, in Horogru Laga, they have been conducting similar brutal attacks against the Oromo people. And they, according to OSG, the Fano militant groups want to hide the reality about the Oromo. They want the Amara elites, and the Fano group want the Oromo case to be hidden, so that the Oromo people will not get their rightful, status in the Ethiopian Empire or in that region. So I would invite everybody, our audiences, to read and widely share this report by the Oromia Support Group. If we are lucky, we will try to host the chairperson of the Oromia Support Group, Dr. Trevor Truman, or other members of his staff on this report, and Oromia Support Group activities in relation to this detailed report. OSG, by the way, submitted this report to UN on Ethiopia Periodic Universal Periodic Review, and sometime in the last few months. FNN tried to interview on this submission, but unfortunately, due to time constraint, we were unable to get in touch with the Oromia Support Group staffs. Oromia Support Group, as you can see, has been documenting the human rights abuses and the killing and disappearance, displacement, and looting of property by the successive Ethiopian governments against the Oromo people and other stakeholders in the Horn of Africa and across the world. In this report, there are reports about the deportation of Oromos from Djibouti, from the abuses that the Oromo people are facing in Puntland and Somaliland and Somalia, and the dispute between the Ethiopian government and the Somalia government as a result of the memorandum of understanding that was signed between the Ethiopian government and the Somaliland on the January 1st of this year. Recently, the Ethiopian government has, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia has said Somalia is running around and wasting money, accusing Ethiopia. He said, and instead of directly talking with us, we could have resolved this issue if they talk with us. And he invited, they could just come to Fimfine and talk with Ethiopia. That's kind of, in my opinion, a disrespect. When a head of state says, it is counterpart just has to visit his own country to discuss about a dispute that they are having. Somalia is saying Ethiopia is violating its internal integrity, and that has been supported by the West. The US came out and recommended that Ethiopia stay out of Somalia's internal affairs and the territorial integrity of Somalia stays intact. But it looks like there might be division in terms of global reaction about this agreement between Ethiopia and Somaliland, and Somaliland's wish to be independent and recognized by the global community. If I'm correct, Somaliland used to be a colony of United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom government seems to support their independence as an independent state. That's what the information I have indicates. So there is some kind of division in the global forces with respect to whether Somaliland should continue part of Somalia or become independent. And Ethiopian government is saying Somalia's government should just come to the capital and we can discuss and resolve this. And the Ethiopian government said before they signed the memorandum of understanding, they shared this information with neighboring countries, including, according to sources, with Somalia, but none of the neighboring countries reacted. And so the government of Abiy Ahmed continued with the memorandum of understanding, and it was signed following the also, I think it was included in this OSG report, the consular office of the Ethiopian government was increased from consular to an embassy. It was the ties between Somaliland was increased. It was upgraded from consular to an embassy. So at this point, following these dynamics and dispute, the dispute between Somalia, Somaliland, and Ethiopian government, and the two conflicting forces, the United Arab Emirates on one side, Ethiopia, Somaliland, and rapid support forces of the Sudan, and on the other hand, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Eritrea, and Somalia. These conflicting forces are kind of they are causing some destabilization in the Horn of Africa, and the Oromo people are among those who are affected by this dynamics, being targeted both in Somaliland and in Somalia. And also OSG reported a number of Oromos are being sent home from Middle East countries such as Saudi Arabia, and the government is sending those who have been repatriated forcibly to the military bases for training and deployment in Oromia and Amara regions. That was all I had today. And so in our today's news, we reported this days of a beloved Oromo figure, Girma Gamada, who is a member of Oromia Media Network and also member of Oromo community, loved by money, known to money. He used to live in Toronto. He was sick, according to OMN, for over 2 years. And according to OMN, the report that came out a few hours ago, Girma passed away today. And another news I brought to you today, we discussed about the defection of Tafarra Mamo, a general of the Ethiopian National Defense Force of Amara origin. And Tafarra Mamo was a high official in the Prosperity Party. He had several positions, minimum of 4, according to sources. And he was with his family and other colleagues of his on picnic, and his wife returned home, and then a few hours or days later she heard she lost the whereabouts of her husband, and he left his phone at home, according to some sources. And then he was reported to have joined the Fano group, and he took an unidentified number of Ethiopian National Defense Forces along with him to join the Fano groups. There are some indication that he was with some of the Amara officials, such as Gaddu and Dargacho, and Samino Sigge, and Ambacho, as we all know. Gaddu Ambacho, Dr. Ambacho, and Samino Sigge have been killed. Samino Sigge killed Ambacho, and Japan government killed Samino, as you remember. It says that this General Tafarra Mamo was with those individuals, and he's well known in Ethiopian politics, and he was one of the higher officials of the government. And this suggests the Ethiopian government at this point is being weakened by such high-profile defections and the military losses that it is sustaining against the Oromo Liberation Army, against the Fano group, and the economic burden that the regime is facing, and the genocide that it conducts in the Amara region for over 2 years that caused over 500,000 people to die, and the people are still continuing to suffer in the Tigray region. A lot of people are still malnourished and are dealing with the consequence of 2-year-long besiege and starvation. We also reported on the continued Oromo Liberation Army operation dubbed Erbu Shiniga campaign, or the Shiniga Oz campaign, which is being conducted in memory of the 10 Oromo Liberation Front top leaders who were executed by Somalia militants in a desert called Shiniga in Somalia when they were on their way from Oromia to Somalia in order to seek support to the Oromo people struggle. During those 19 years of Oromo people struggle, those top Oromo leaders were those who were first to learn and become aware about the injustices that were being committed by the successive Ethiopian rulers since the establishment of Ethiopia by 1930s. And those icon and Oromo intellectuals and leaders decided to stick together when the Somali militants asked them to separate by religion. And this Oromo Liberation Army campaign, that's named Erbu Shiniga campaign or Shiniga Oath campaign, is in memory of those leaders those 10 leaders who were executed by the Somali militants. Began this Erbu Shiniga campaign or Shiniga Oath campaign began a few months ago, and it continues from all areas in Oromia, from the west to the east, from the north to from north Wallo to south Guji and Borana, and central Oromia. The Oromo Liberation Army are on daily basis conducting operations against the Ethiopian National Defense Forces. The leader of the Oromo Liberation Front, Oromo Liberation Army, Jal Marro Driba, recently on June 15th, announced that the Oromo Liberation Army is currently shifting its operations from the border areas and other distant areas to the central Oromia region, and which means surrounding the capital. And there is an intensification of the Oromo Liberation Army operations in Shawa zones, and they are currently threatening the capital. And while this is continuing, the Ethiopian National Defense Forces are defecting to either Fano or the Oromo Liberation Army. Some of them are also surrendering to the Oromo Liberation Army along with their military assets. And finally, according to the OSG report, since Abiy Ahmed came to power, OSG documented over 5,575 Oromo civilians killed by ENDF and Fano terrorists. These are the number documented and confirmed by OSG. I believe the number of people who are killed by the Ethiopian government forces in Fano terrorist groups are in hundreds of thousands, and a lot of it remains unreported, unpublished. And this number, I believe, is the tip of an iceberg. And human rights groups across the world and those who are keenly observing what the situation in Oromia and Ethiopia should continue to record and report on the human rights violations that is being committed by the Ethiopian government forces and Fano terrorists against the Oromo people. With that, we come to the conclusion of our today's program. As in the US, we are celebrating the 248th year of independence. US gained independence from the British in 1776, and the country, after all that, has now become, over for almost hundreds of years, the top most developed country in the world. And the American citizens and all those who call US home are celebrating US independence, and the American citizens celebrates the holiday, the Independence Day or July 4th, by grilling, some steaks, spending time with family members, picnic, and shooting fireworks, and lot of celebration, city hall events, street events, and it's a national holiday, a very well observed holiday. Today, July 4th is one of great days that people like the Oromo are looking forward to one day celebrate their independence as well. With that, I conclude our today's program. This has been Finfinne News Network, and I'm your host, Daniel Dibaba. Thank you for staying with us. If you have any question, please reach out to us using one of our social media. You can also email us at fnn@fnnmedia.org or finfinne.news@gmail.com. You can subscribe to our channels and visit our website, fnnmedia.org, our YouTube at Finfinne, Facebook, FNN1020 or FNN20, Oromia, and Telegram, FNN2020. And TikTok, we recently started. Search for FNN or FNN, a username FNN4130. You will get some of our programs on TikTok as well. Thank you very much for staying with us. Until next time, goodbye.